Hello, everybody. It's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the Rock Squad channel in this very unconventional rock album review that I'm doing on my phone right now while I'm sitting in my car outside of a closed Cineplex movie theater. I'm sorry about that. I'm actually just out and about. I got my first vaccination shot today. A vaccination scar, if you could say, related kind of to the band that I'm talking about on this rock album review, and that's the surprise release for the new Tragically Hip EP. Kind of new, kind of old, Tragically Hip EP called Saskadelphia, which they announced. It was a surprise release yesterday. It came out on CD and LP and on streaming. So I thought it is a long weekend here in Hamilton. It's the May 2-4 long weekend in Canada in general. And I thought, I don't really want to edit a video this weekend. So I thought the best thing to do would just do a quick little thought on the Saskadelphia EP from Tragically Hip. Like I said, it's a surprise release. These songs are actually almost 30 years old. I think about 30 years old now. They were from the Road Apple sessions, which was the Hip's breakthrough album back in the early 90s. And that was a huge album for them with like Twist My Arm. Three Pistols is on that record. And these songs on Saskadelphia are unreleased Hip songs that they thought they'd lost, actually, because they intended Road Apples to be a double album at first. They wanted to call it Saskadelphia, but they had to change the title because the record label thought it was too Canadian. So they decided to call the album Road Apples because they thought it was horse shit that the label was doing this to them. And Road Apples are horse crap. If you're on the road and you see a road apple, that is what it is. So it took them a while to release these songs. Like I said, I know they were thought lost, but they are still here, and that is a good thing. And as I'm not a huge Tragically Hip fan. I think it's almost treason in Canada to say that you're not a Tragically Hip fan, because they are Canada's band. Gord Downie, God rest his soul, may he rest in peace, was Canada's frontman, was Canada's lyricist, and he really represented Canada's best. But I'm not a huge Tragically Hip fan. It is treason to say that. I think I could get tried and executed for that. But I'm not a huge Hip fan. I do like a lot of their songs. I like, Head by Century, Gift Shop, In View is one of my favorite Tragically Hip songs, but I've never latched onto them like most Canadians have as being, Canada's favorite band. They're definitely not my favorite Canadian band. And when I was working in rock radio on Y108 here in Hamilton, there were a few occasions where I actually had to fake it that I was a massive Hip fan. We did a live broadcast when the Hip played their final show in Hamilton. Not their final show, but one of their final shows here in Hamilton. We did a broadcast across the street. And then the night Gord Downie died, I was on the air, and I had to change my whole show. I had to restructure the whole show to be around the Tragically Hip and Gord Downie. And that was a lot of fun to connect with fans. But like I said, I'm not a huge Hip fan, so I did kind of have to... there are things I actually don't really like about the Hip, but there were a few things that I had to fake in that regard. So sorry if you ever listen to those broadcasts. They were fun, but the thing about the Hip, and especially about the Road Apples era, so I'm gonna make this quick. The Road Apples era is that that's when they were at their prime as kind of being the tightest Canadian bar band around. That's kind of how they started out, and especially listening to these songs in Saskadelphia, you can tell that the Hip were just such a tight band. Do you know what I mean? Back in the day when they were really playing rock and roll music, they evolved so much throughout their career through different sounds and different styles of rock. But when they first started out, they really were a four-on-the-floor rock and roll band, the tightest band around. So you can see why so many Canadian rock fans latched onto the band. Gord Downie's vocals, his lyrics are incredible. And then listening back to this Saskadelphia EP, these 6 songs from the first song, Ouch, Montreal, the other ones on this, I can't remember all the titles. There's only 6 songs on it. But this reminds you of that Hip era where they really were at the top of their game as one of the best rock bands in Canada. They were so tight. They were so amazing. And Gord Downie's vocals on Saskadelphia come out so forceful, so incredible. It's like he's here with us again, which is fantastic. And that's something that I really enjoyed about the Saskadelphia EP. Now, personally, this was a one-time listen for me. It's not something that I'm just going to keep going back to over and over again, because I said I'm not a huge Hip fan. I actually don't listen to them very much, aside from when I was on the radio and I had to listen to them on a daily basis multiple times a day. But I think if you are a Tragically Hip fan, this is a great release. This is a great surprise going into the May 2-4 long weekend here in Canada, and I'm sure a lot of you Hip fans will be out there blasting these tunes in your backyard and at the cottages, and it just feels good to have some fresh Tragically Hip music. I'm not sure if you're a diehard Hip fan, if you've heard these songs before. They're new to me. I know they're new to the to the rock music world at large. But I'm sure if you're a Hip fan, you must know these songs or maybe heard them on a bootleg or something like that. So if you are a diehard Hip fan, I would love to know what you think of this very impromptu rock album review of the new Hip album or EP Saskadelphia. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Make sure to like this video. We would appreciate that. Make sure to check us out or subscribe to the channel. All these things, notification bell, all that crap. It's a long weekend. Don't worry about that. Just watch the video and enjoy. And make sure to check out the Rock Squad podcast every week here on the Rock Squad channel and more rock album reviews. We'll definitely be digging in a little bit deeper about this new hip release Saskadelphia on the Rock Squad podcast this week. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. But that is it for my very impromptu long weekend Tragically Hip Saskadelphia rock album review. I'm going to get back to my long weekend, probably have a date with the couch. So we'll see you guys on the next rock album review. Rock on.